Today we're returning to my fantasy alternate universe where every team in the world has become part of the same league structure. We've got hundreds and hundreds of club teams from all over the world, including our new FIFA World Premier League. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, head back about 7 days on the channel or click on the video that will appear up in one of those corners now to see part one. Otherwise, let's jump straight in. We are now 3 years into the future and let's have a look to see who's been winning. Hello, I'm Kev and welcome to part 2 of my FIFA World League series. If you are interested in playing this league for yourself, there is a link to the Steam Workshop page for this down in the description, and I talk about it at length and show you where to find it over in episode 1 of this series, which you've already clicked if you watch the intro. If you are enjoying this series, I would massively appreciate if you pop a like on there to just show me that you want me to keep making this kind of thing. It's still all very new for me. And if you have arrived from searching for this kind of experimentation on YouTube and you're not familiar with the rest of the channel, pop a subscribe on there. We've got daily Football Manager content all over the channel. It'll be worth having an explore. I promise you it will be worth it. So we need to jump straight in to see what's been going on in this fantasy world. We're 3 years in the future, as you can see from the date up there. It's the 31st of May 2019, so we want to jump straight into the FIFA Premier League and see who's been winning it. I've not looked at any of this stuff. Straight away, we're seeing English dominance. Man United have won it this year. They won it last year as well. Arsenal are second. I mean, this is mad from Arsenal because they were second in the first season, second to Barcelona then. Barcelona have now dropped all the way down to 8th place. And Arsenal, I mean, let's have a look who's in the Arsenal team now. Now we're so far into the future. I mean, it's a fairly similar Arsenal team. If we look at the transfers that have been coming in and out, they spent £47 million, brought in 21 million the season before. They're not spending a huge amount of money. I thought it was the magical money of the Premier League that was allowing the English clubs to dominate, but unless Man United have been spending big, Arsenal just obviously have a team that's well suited to the FIFA World League. They're obviously desperate for it to happen in real life. So if we look at Manchester United's transfers over the last couple of years, I mean, they're not spending very much money either. So that was the first season. Second season, I mean, they're spending a bit, but it's not crazy spending. I mean, that's quite conservative spending. They made a profit that season. Daily Blind going to Paris Saint-Germain for a load of money. So Man United operating at a transfer profit, but winning the FIFA Premier League for the second season in a row. If we look back at the past winners as well, so it was Paris Saint-Germain second last year, Juventus third. Paris Saint-Germain now third this year with Arsenal recovering to another runners-up spot. Man United haven't been out of the top 3 in the 3 years that this league has been running. Notable other movements within the league. Man City, who were very close to relegation in that first season, have now made it up into 5th place. Tottenham will be very pleased to be the 6th best team in the world, I think. And Leverkusen will probably be quite pleased to be the 7th best team in the world. Some teams that I mean, straight away, I'm noticing a distinct lack of the likes of AC Milan. Are Bayern Munich in there? Where are they? Oh, they're there. Interesting. Southampton, look, 13th place. They didn't start in the Premier League, I don't think. If we have a look at their competition history. Southampton started in League 2, won that, then got runners-up in League 1, and are now 13th place in the Premier League. Their transfer history is going to be interesting. So they're actually spending a lot more money than the bigger teams around them. So they threw a lot of money around in that first year for being down in League 2, and then equally throwing a lot of money around, £4 million on Cyrus Christie from Derby. And then last year, on making it to the FIFA Premier League for the first time, they've thrown £50 million on a big pile of players from teams, I guess, that they played against on their way up through these divisions, selling Cyrus Christie onto Everton. There you go. It's the story of Cyrus Christie in this save. Who else have we got here? Liverpool just avoiding relegation. Bayern just avoiding relegation. And we are seeing Dortmund, Chelsea, Gladbach and Valencia relegated this season. It's really surprising to see Chelsea going down. Transfer-wise, I guess this means they're going to have to sell off a lot of their players. I don't really know what kind of impact getting relegated has on the reputation. Because, I mean, the the first division, the FIFA League One, this league, is still the second best team in the world. So you would expect players to not necessarily run away straight away. Leicester are going to make it up into the Premier League. There you go. Let's have a look at Leicester's history. So Leicester, another one who are following Southampton up from League 2. So they're a runner-up in League 2, third place in League 1. But that is enough to get them promoted into the Premier League. So Leicester are making it into the FIFA World League. They've had a good run over the last few years. They win the Premier League in the last season it existed, and now they're making it into the FIFA World League. They probably feel a little bit hard done by that as reigning Premier League champions when this whole nonsense kicked off. They didn't get straight into the biggest league in the history of the world, but they've made it there now, as have Milan and Napoli. Jamie Vardy, top scorer in this division. Lukaku, who's he playing? Where's Everton? Lukaku's got 21 goals for an Everton team that nearly got relegated. That's mad as well. And Newcastle, I think they were... I know I'm picking out the English teams here. It's purely because these are the ones that I'm noticing because I'm English. I'll upload the save so you can have an explore on it yourself if you're more interested in teams from other countries, but I don't want this video to be hours long. Newcastle started all the way down in League 3, which they won, then runners-up in League 2. They're now up into League 1 and presumably trying to build for a push to get into the FIFA World League. There's a lot of... It seems that teams that get off to a good start get that momentum going and start to race through the leagues. I wonder if we've got anyone plummeting in the opposite direction. Porto feel like a team who shouldn't be all the way down in League 2, which is where they're going to end up now. How do I get just the competition? No, I just want to see their league finishes, but apparently I can't see that. So they got, relegated from the Premier League, now relegated from League 1. So it looks like it works in reverse as well. If a team gets relegated, and it's all about momentum. So let's see what this does to their transfers. They spent a lot of money in the first year, but got relegated. Whoa, okay. Forget everything I said about clubs not having a mass exodus if they get relegated into that League 1. They sold £103 million off of players on relegation, which I guess is why they've struggled to recover and they're plummeting now. They've sold another £68 million the next year, got relegated again. So there's going to be another exodus this year because they're going to be down in League 2. Porto are in trouble. That's interesting. West Ham, I think, started reasonably low and are now forcing their way up. If we have a look at their landmarks, so promotion from League 3, promotion from League 2, and now they're into League 1. I mean, they're not exactly top of League 1, are they? But they're there, showing that we've got a lot of double promotions and double relegations going on in all this. Why did that just jump back to that one? Hold on. Santos, I don't think, started this high up. If we look at their... So they got... No, okay, they did start there. I'll let them off. Right, let's jump down. I'm looking for really big clubs starting to fall down to this level. Lyon, I feel like they're a team who would have started reasonably high. Okay, no, they started in League 1, got relegated and then promoted back up. So we have seen someone who's managed to bounce back. It's not just free fall if you get relegated. So that's an interesting one. And Crystal Palace, look, mixing it with the likes of Sao Paulo, Ajax, who've got relegated. I mean, Ajax officially not as good as Crystal Palace. So they got relegated from League 2 this season. Right, I'm not going to go through every division. I'll just skip through them quickly. If you want to see who is where, hit pause and have a look to see who's where. Because I want to have a little look on how some of the transfers are starting to work. So we'll just skip through these leagues. Once you get down to this level, obviously we split into these multiple leagues. So it would take an absolute age to go through all of these. I mean, Watford, current Premier League team, all the way down in League 4 groups, as are West Brom. LA Galaxy getting promoted from that one. They're starting to make their way up the system. I want to find my beloved Posh, but they were way down, so I'm not going to go all the way down looking for them. Let's get back to that Premier League, and I want to look at manager movements and transfers. So if we have a look at manager movements over these, can we look at each season, or is it just going to show us the most recent ones? So Arsene Wenger, it says he resigned. Did he retire? He didn't. He's managing France. That's an unusual decision. Let's leave the lucrative FIFA World League to go and manage France. So Arsene Wenger's now doing that. Roberto Mancini left Chelsea. I wasn't aware he was at Chelsea. And Juventus lose Allegri, and I don't know who Lucien Favre is. I imagine that's making me look like an absolute moron. And no, to be honest, why would I know who he is? And so Bielsa is the guy who went to Chelsea. So he left Valencia to go to Chelsea. Okay, let's have a look at the transfers at this level. If we sort them by the big money ones. So Gabriel Barbosa, the big money transfer of this season, going from Inter to Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, there's a bit of a theme on where the big money's being spent. Paris Saint-Germain and Man City. I mean, Man City only taking one, to be fair. But Paris Saint-Germain are spending a lot of money to try and win themselves a FIFA World League. How long until we see Paris Saint-Germain as the biggest team in the world? If we look at their transfer history over the 3 seasons we've been going so far, £43 million in that first season, £141 million in the second season. Look at some of these players they're signing. That's mad. And then last season, just the 143 on some absolute superstars. They're going to win the league sooner rather than later, surely. I don't know how their manager's not been sacked. Right, if we have a look at some of the records in the FIFA Premier League as well, to see who, because obviously all these would have been completely blank, presumably. Who on earth? What? Oh, I don't know what that... How are a team in Serie A the most times winners? Because this was originally the Luxembourg League, I guess. So not all of these records were completely blanked off, I guess. So we just want the ones that have started from this. That's weird. So this is the Luxembourg League, but a team that now play in Italy, unless that's what the league is called in Luxembourg as well. Someone help me. I'm stuck. No? Thanks for the help. Let me know down in the comments what on earth is going on. Kev's confused. Who'd have thought? Highest attendance is predictably Barcelona because they have the biggest ground. I'm looking for the player stats. Here we go, player records. So the most goals in the season, Edinson Cavani. You would expect 23 to be beatable, but it hasn't been beaten yet. Harry Kane with most goals in a match with 4 for Spurs against Benfica this season. Dybala, most assists for Juventus. Ter Stegen at Barcelona, most clean sheets. Best player has been Leonardo Bonucci of Juventus in that first season. Mesut Ozil, most man of the match awards. The youngest goal scorer is Martin Odegaard for Real Madrid, and the oldest is Zlatan Ibrahimovic for Manchester United. He's still there now, aged 450 years old. The oldest player who's played in it is Buffon, who is now just a goalkeeping coach, but was still playing for Juventus, aged 40. And the youngest player so far, I guess, is a regen at Man City. Oh no, he might be real. Man City fans, you'll probably confirm to me that he's real. Right, we'll just have a look at the manager movements and transfers in the other leagues as well. So this is in League One. Nothing massively significant there for me. Manager movements is a difficult one because we can't look back over every season, which is troubling. So first season we've already seen in the last video. The transfer fees are definitely lower down in League One. I guess there's less money being thrown around. And it's mostly players leaving to go to the bigger clubs. Benfica, very active. Where are Benfica? They're 11th in the Premier League now. And considering we're seeing Porto in freefall, if you're a Benfica fan, I imagine you're going to be quite pleased about that. Spending a lot of money, but also selling a lot of players to English teams, which that probably makes you sad. You've got positives and negatives if you're a Benfica fan today, but I guess that positive of being the dominant Portuguese team in all of this probably outweighs the negatives. And then this season, we had, again, a mass exodus of players towards that top division. Although West Ham, where are they? Oh, no, they are in League One now. We looked at them before, didn't I? I know they started lower down, but obviously reaching this level and starting to throw some cash around. If we drop down to League Two, again, the transfer fees start to drop a little bit. I mean, it's not massively significant. There's still a £28 million transfer there. With Bayern throwing some money around, but the big transfers are all players moving out of this league rather than into this league. Likewise, if we look at the previous season, it's just Paris Saint-Germain hoovering up the top talent from these teams in lower leagues. And then if we drop down to League 3, and the transfer fees start to drop a little bit again, and it is just the mass exodus of players. So I think the pattern that we're going to start seeing here is that gradually over time, the amount of money being spent in these divisions is going to start to increase. It's all going to balance out, and I think the money's just going to rise to the top. How do we see the richest clubs in the world? Is that something you only get to see when you're offered it, or does that live in a menu somewhere? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments where we find that. But I would be interested to see how the richest teams in the world, when we come back and do this at the end of season 5, which is when the next video is going to be, I want to be able to do a side-by-side comparison of the top of the FIFA Premier League against the richest teams in the world, because I can only assume they'll be almost identical. That's about it for today. If you let me know down in the comments what you would like me to look at in future videos in this series, and also how long you'd like this to keep going for, I will endeavour to put the link to the save down in the description so you can root around in there yourself. Realistically, I'm not going to be able to spend an hour on an episode looking for each individual team, so I'll put the save up there so that you can have a look for that yourself, or just download the mod and have a look at it yourself and have a little play in this world. It looks like it's going to be quite good fun. We've made it 3 years in without it crashing, so that's got to be a positive. You get a decent length save out of it. I might have to play a save in this world at some point. I think if we get a consistent chunk of likes and views, I'll decide on a number before the next video. But if people are still watching this 4 or 5 episodes in, then I think it might be necessary to do a save in this version of the database, just to have a little explore. Perhaps do I don't know, start with a League 3 or 4 team and see where we end up, see how quickly we can rise to the top with money to throw around. It would be a very interesting save to play. So if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.